Hey guys, welcome to Kipoerneke's Corner. I'm over in Everquest Legends at the moment, and I'm going to try to remember how this is done, because as you probably all know by now, I'm a little bit scatterbrained. So I think what we want to do here is figure out how to do the whole gate thing and go back to the start, like back to Ogok. And then I think I can call back over here with something that we got last time. It was, I don't know exactly what. I'm going to see if I can find it. I don't think that it's Zone Guide. I think it might be, let's see. Good question. Maybe skills? Okay, so maybe skills. And we'll go down here. What was it called? I don't know. Was it Gate? Maybe it was Gate. Gate might be the one that takes you to your revive point. I'm not sure. And then but I'm not sure. Let's see if we can see it in here. I don't see anything that I might be looking for in here. Or maybe I just don't know the name of the thing that I'm looking for. That's entirely not only possible, but definitely. Now let's see. Look through some more here. See if I can find what the heck I'm doing. Because what I want to do is go back to Ogok right now and then figure out how to come back over here with the spell. I think there's a way to do it. So the spell book is K. We don't need that. I don't think it's, well, I don't know. Maybe it is alternate advancement. Let's look there. Okay, we've got gather party. That brings your party to where you are, I believe. But that's not what I want. What I want is origin. Maybe that's it right there. It's to use this ability when activated transports you back to your starting city. Yes. Okay, that's what I want. Is this where I use it from? Possibly. It says can purchase. I think I already have it, but I don't know where it goes. Let's just try clicking it and see what happens. Okay, I clicked it, and now it's gone from the list. Where did it go, we wonder? Is it in the actions window? Is it in the, let's try actions again. Maybe that moved it over there. Actions is apparently an L. What would it be? An ability, maybe? Called origin? Yes, origin, very good. So that was an alternate advancement thing. Sorry about all the clearing in my throat. I decided to swallow water down the wrong pipe just before starting the stream. So I'm trying not to choke to death. All right, let's try clicking origin and see if that takes us back to our starting city. Seems like it's working. Or maybe it's not working. I don't know. Oh, okay. The countdown bar is still going. There we go. All right. It just stopped making a sound there for a minute. But we're back in business now. Excellent. All is well. All right. I also have what I'm looking for here is the mailman, because I know that we got some mail. So we're gonna try to go over to the dude who has the mail. I don't know what dude has the mail, but I was told that it's by the banker. First step is to find the banker in Ogok, and I think he's this way. I think we're going in the correct direction. And so, if we can find the banker, then we can theoretically find the male person as well. Actually, I don't know if it's a person or if it's a place. Parcels, excellent. Parcels sounds very, very promising. We went up to him, we right-clicked on him. Now, okay, there's a tab up here beside Recover that says Parcels. And I have one. So, this guy gave me an Amulet of Necropotence, +1. So that's 14 intelligence, 11 save versus magic, 1 save versus void, negative 90 HP, but it makes us smaller, is my understanding. The quick effect is illusion skeleton. So, okay. Sorry. Let's go ahead and pick this up, first of all. And then there it is, maybe. Nope, that's not it. Where it's here somewhere. Okay, it was called Amulet of Necropotence here. So, let's click the eye, and then it goes on the neck. I currently have something on the neck, but this should be good for me to use so that I'm not quite so big, I think. Okay, so I clicked the axe thinking that it would go on in the correct slot. But I don't see it. Okay, so is it because... Okay, let's see. Let's back away from the salesman guy. Maybe it's because I already have something there. Let's remove the choker and try putting the amulet on. Ah, that worked. That is excellent. Now, what do I do about that? How do I use it? It's a click effect. So does that mean if I left click on it, can I drag it? Yes, I can. I can drag it down here. Very cool. So this other thing here is not a click effect. It's a focus effect. So I think what I want to do is remove this Alice Volume medicine bag +2 from my window here. Let's clear this. And now I have these two things here, and this one will hopefully change my size. It does. Oh, awesome. Excellent. So the next question is, should I move that? Probably I should, to be not my neck piece. So I don't have anything that requires any brass instruments right now, so maybe I take this out. And then, I don't know, can I move the amulet down there, or can I move the cloth choker down there? Let's see. I mean, it looks like it. Cloth choker gives an AC of 2. Let's see if that actually works or not. If I can find the right number to look at. Yes, okay, so we were at 99. And then when we put it on, we're at 101. So it is giving me the bonus putting it in there. The Ghoulie says, it's been a while since I last played, but can't you just right-click that from within your bag to use its spec? I have no idea, but that would be amazing if so. Let's find out. Let's pull it off. Well, actually, let's take off this other one, though. Well, okay, the bag, not the bag, the boots. Let's take off the boots. You know what? I don't think so. I think that right-clicking might be a bad thing to do, right? Isn't right-clicking the one that, like, I don't know, dumps things on the ground or something? Let's try it on something else. I have this mystic doll I've been carrying around. What if I right-click on it? What does it do? It doesn't seem to have done anything to do that, so that's a good sign. So maybe let's try bringing these boots out of the bag and right-clicking on them and see if it works or not. Cannot use this item unless it is equipped, according to the words down here. The Ghoulie says, if you have something in your bag and you right-click it, aka the amulet, doesn't that just automatically use it? It doesn't seem to. Meaning your skeleton illusion amulet. Right, so it didn't work with the shoes, which they're the same thing. They're a quick effect as well, and so it doesn't seem to have worked to do that. I can put it on the hotbar and click it though. If I do that, see, there's the boots. They are right somewhere here. That's the skeleton illusion. This is the spirit of the travelers. What we have to have, but you know what it is? I have to put them on before I can click them, and then when I click it here, it'll use it. There we go. Yeah. No right-clicking from the bag to use it. So, moving forward then, we can have both of those items on, and should be able to click them from the hotbar to use them. Alright, let's click done here. Skeleton illusion will be useful. Now maybe we can walk into places without having to duck down quite so much. That'll be amazing. The ghoulie says, to be fair, I might be thinking of a more modern version of Everquest, so that's on me. You're probably thinking of Everquest 2. However, some things do still have to be equipped in order to attune them to yourself the first time in EverQuest 2. And then after you have attuned them, then you can sometimes do that. As I recall, I'm actually questioning that myself at this moment. But I feel that that's the case. All right, so we got that. That was my primary goal here in town. Looks like we have a little bit of food and drink, but I think maybe I want to grab some more. Maybe, I'm not sure. We have some bread cakes and some fish cakes. And I think maybe I want to go and pick up some more food before we leave town. I also would like some fishing bait if I can run across some. Not really sure who sells the fishing bait. I found it when I was here once upon a time, but I don't recall who I got it from. Let's see. Weapons, smithing supplies. You know, I don't know. Not that way, I think. We're gonna come back over this way and check up here, I think with the food and drink guys, and see if we can get, first and foremost, something to drink. Probably not the bartender. We probably want the, maybe the bartender. But the bartender probably has alcohols, which we don't want. We'll check and see. Have to get a little closer. All right. So yeah, he just has alcohols, which is not something that I need right now. Let's come over to Chef Duga here. And Chef Duga has a variety of items. Let's go in order of cost and see if we can get a big pile of maybe muffins. How about muffins? We could get muffins, we could get fish cakes. What's the difference? We don't actually know. It doesn't tell you, strangely. If you do all quick, all we can see is it is a food. It's a small food. Well, we can't even see that it's food. We're just making the assumption that it's food, to be honest. Its value is 7 copper. And that's all we really know about the muffin. We go to fish cakes, same kind of deal. It costs more, but there's no real reason for it to, as far as can be discerned. The sizes of both of them are the same, and there's no benefits that are mentioned. So, yeah, no idea whatsoever what the difference between the muffins and the fish cakes are. But we can buy a lot more of the muffins. Do they last as long? Who knows? It's hard to say, really. Let's just buy a pile of them. Can we get 100? I doubt we can buy that many. I doubt we have enough gold, but maybe. Boy, it doesn't even have a confirmation window. Like, do you really want to do that? Nah, you really want to do that. If you're clicking muffin, boy, you want to buy 100 muffins, no doubt about it. Interesting. Where did the muffins go? There they are. Alright, so, once the, oh, let's click out of that window. Now, once we run out of these other foods, then we'll start eating the muffins. So we also have these bags, and I did want to throw those into the banker when I got there. Just regular containers. Feels like I could toss those into my storage. Here's a small box, and I don't think that I need to be carrying these things around. I see no reason to. Belt pouch, sure, that can also go. We got a large bag there. The guys were just dropping um, bags left and right for me. I also have some things that are being auto looted that I see no reason currently to auto loot, and so I should fix that up real quick. I can come over here. Thank you for the follow, Steven James, dude. Uh, let's go to, I think it's options, possibly, and then and I could have been wrong about what I was supposed to go to. Kind of looks like I was, because what I want to see is the loot filters, loot options, something like that. Let's go look around here. Okay, actions. Strangely, the loot window is apparently in action. So there it is. And now we can see the filters here. And what we want to do is auto store some things that are not currently being auto stored, which are various bags for one thing. How about we just type in bag, and I want the large bag to go to store. And let's see, there was also what, pouch, I think. I believe it was pouch. Maybe not. Belt? I could have my window open, and that would help. I could just look it up. Let's try it. We've got a large bag, and I think I did bag already, so it should. Yes, we did the bag. Okay, we've got a belt pouch. That should have shown up whenever I typed in belt, but it did not. We also have a small bag that should have showed up in a small box. None of those did we set to auto anything, I think is the thing. And so it's not giving me options. I believe that's correct. All right. So then, nothing to do about those guys, but I do have some other things that I want to put on auto, like these bone chips here. There's no reason for us to carry those around, I think. Type in bone chips, and we're going to auto. Okay, we already have those on auto store. We just haven't managed to get any since we stored them, I suppose. So let's move this over here into a bag we're going to dump into the bank. Dragon sword, most likely, to be honest. All right, we also have some ale, which is not terribly useful at the moment. So there's that. What else? So anything else I want to dump when I see it? I'm not sure about these keys. Like, what's the deal with those? No clue. Let's throw those into the bank too. Well, I might run across things that need them, so maybe not. I think that's for unrest. No, befallen, right? Befallen. I didn't get to unrest. I got to befallen. All right. So let's see here. Nothing else I need there. We do have the mode of infinitesimal potential. Infinitesimal potential. I don't know if I said that correctly the first time. And so this is looking good. Now we just need to go find that banker again, because I like to run back and forth a lot. So we'll find him, throw that stuff in the bank, and hopefully have bags that are a little bit clearer than they were the last time we were around here. Okay, this is the regular bank. What I want to do, I think, is put these bags in here first and foremost. We have a small box. I don't know if those go into a bank or not. Let's find out. It does. Now, can it hold something when it's in here? I don't know. It holds up to medium size. For some reason, I have fish scales in here. Pretty sure those need to go into the trade scale depot. Gypsy wine is small. That ought to go in if anything does. Oh yeah, that's right. We can't do it like that. We have to actually open up this box, which we do by right-clicking on it. All right, there it is. Let's move our gypsy wine into that box. And then see if we can move the loot strings and worn weighted gloves and rusty two-handed sword +3. Now hold on a second. Do I have any more of those rusty long swords? So I don't have any more of those sorts. Let's move those into the bag, and then, oh, it won't go in there because it's heavy, right? And probably this is too, or they're large items. So large items won't go into the box that only holds medium, obviously, right? Okay. So then, what can we put in there? We can put in the ale for sure. Actually, the ale is small, so maybe I should make better decisions here and see what we have empty in the way of small things. These are small things, so let's move them to the purse, which holds small things, right? That makes sense. Tiny thing can go in there. This is a medium thing, so it stays here. Alright, we've got fish scales, those go in the trade skill depot. The ale is small, so it can go in the small bag. Let's put, okay, we have another small bag here, which only holds tiny things. And a large bag, which holds large things. Excellent. Felt pouch holds small things. And these bone chips are, in fact, small. So, let's put the small things in the small bag. Seems like it makes sense. Unfortunately, it didn't open that bag yet. There we are. It's a struggle, you know? It's a day in the life. Alright, so we got that. Now let's go to the trade scale depot. And we want to toss these fish scales into there. If we can. Cannot be added to the trade scale because it's not a trade scale item. Cool. Alright. X off of there then. And then we'll have to go to the dragon sword. Now, we can toss the fish scales into there for sure. Also would have been smart probably to go ahead and put the rest of these things somewhere. I have a tattered parchment note. I have no idea what that's all about. We want to keep probably the Alice William medicine bag +2. I wonder if I should just take this second instrument off that we can't currently use for anything and put this Alice William medicine bag in there. Seems like a good idea, right? Okay. Things are looking better over here. I don't really mind carrying around this equipment right now because I do have an equipment slot that holds a lot of equipment, I think 50 pieces. So I'll go ahead and call that good enough on here. So, I mean, I can move these things into the large bag. I should do that real quick, probably. If only I had the large bag open. There it is. Alright, large bag for holding large items. Okay. So, I wonder if we should move things around so that we have the things that hold only tiny things at the front. And then we go from tiny to large with our bag size. Feels like it makes sense. Everything I have holds small or bigger. Nope, there it is. The bag that looks like all the other bags. Where did it go? Oh my goodness, I've lost the thing that said tiny. Am I crazy, or did that say tiny a second ago on one of these things? I don't know. It's gone. Okay, size is tiny. Size cap is medium. That's what I must have been seeing. Okay. So the size is small and size cap is small on this. Oh no, what do you think that's all about? So it's a tiny bag because it holds 4 things. Is that right? No, that's not right because that's also small. So this one holds 4, that one holds 4. Both the same capacity. The weight is 0.2. Ah, the weight of the tiny bag is more than the weight of the smaller thing, the small purse. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move this over here because it can hold tiny things. We're going to count it, and then we're going to do a roll for medium here, and we're going to do a roll for large there. That seems fair. Alright. Made it through the very difficult banking process. Now let's go to the inventory page and then We can hop over to alt currency and deposit our moats into there. I'm uncertain why it doesn't automatically go into that window, but it doesn't. Oh, Bliss says it's all arbitrary. Some giant containers only hold tiny things, and vice versa. That's crazy. I had this foolhardy notion that the name of the bag and the size of the bag may have something to do with what kinds of things it held, or at least the capacity of the bag, but whatever was I thinking? Bliss says in size is not at all correlated to slot count. Yeah, these names, they don't seem to have anything to do with each other. It's very interesting. Keeps you on your toes, man, this game. It really does. I wonder what all I've forgotten to do. Okay, one thing I've definitely forgotten to do is I made this buff. I don't know what you call it. It's a buff page. I accidentally opened my book instead of right-clicking. So we right-click on this little thing here at the bottom of this spell gems window, and we can do this thing, load spell set. And what I want is the buffs set, right? So that's going to automatically memorize my buffs to this thing here, because I set it up to do that. So we'll do this, and then we'll change back to adventuring after we get all of these applied. And that will be phenomenal, because then we'll have on some buffs. The skeleton it laughed at me, just like the skeletons out in the wild do. I didn't realize it would do that. It's a shame. Maybe I should turn off my skeleton form until such time that I actually need it. Thought I might be going into some places here that I would need it. I kind of did. But I'm thinking when I'm in the overworld, that I can be my normal ogre self and then be skeleton when going into small places, if I can remember to do that. It's asking a lot of me, so I may or may not have the ability to do that. Bliss says different quest/item devs at different times with zero internal communication or standards. I see. Well, maybe it's just all part of the experience, right? Okay, let's go this way. And we're going to make our way over to here. I feel like there's something else I wanted, though, and it was, you know what? It was bait. I want some bait before I leave. Now, who will sell me bait? That's the question. There's a smithing supplies guy there. That's unlikely to have bait. There's an armorer. Anybody could have bait. Who knows? Let's try this direction. Gladiator Polo says, hello, have you played Monsters and Memories? I have not played Monsters and Memories. I've heard of it from a couple different sources, but I haven't played it. I've heard it's very similar to Everquest 1, but I think they're coming out with I guess they're going to be releasing it fairly soon, right? The beta is already in progress, as far as I know. Okay, this is the Greenblood Guild. They're not probably going to have anything useful in the way of bait. Bliss says bards should have a forage skill. You can find bait, but if you're looking for a vendor, general supplies or fishing supplies are your best bets. Cool. Yeah, I bought them from a vendor before, so the forage skill. Let's see. Maybe we come here, go to not actions, character, and then skills. Let's see if we have a forage skill here. We might. Yes, we have forage. It's awful. Can we? Okay, there's a thing to make a hotkey. Very nice. I think that sounds like a good plan. So I want the hotkey right there. I think I like that right there. So let's move this and trade places. Put our forage skill right there. Now let's try using it. Can we forage and get some bait? We became better at forage. We didn't locate anything nearby. Now you can use it again in 1 minute and 40 seconds. So it looks like maybe every 2 minutes. Very cool. Thank you very much for that information, Bliss. Gladiator says, oh, well, hold on. Bliss says there's a find menu somewhere. Not sure if it's working yet. Yes, the find menu is somewhat working. If we go to our map, then we can use the find feature. It's not perfect by any means, but it is working. Maybe we can find a general supply guy. There's quite a lot of them. So it says Chef Duga, ironically, is a general supply guy. We were just at Chef Duga a moment ago. Might even still be reasonable to go over there for that. It doesn't look like there's a fishing person specifically. You know, now that I'm seeing the name, I think the last one I got it from might have been Angrog. And that makes sense because I was thinking it was near the door. And it looks like Angrog is near the door. So there's a possibility there that he'll have exactly what we need. If I can follow the yellow wisp successfully. Alright, Gladiator Polo says, how are you enjoying EverQuest Legends so far? It's been a very interesting experience. I haven't, whoa, Bouncer Back's corpse is here. How interesting. But anyway, I haven't been playing very long. I've only been doing the beta and I never did EverQuest 1. So it's definitely a new experience for me. Let's talk to this guy and see if he does have some fishing bait. That's phenomenal. Let's try real quick another forage and see if we can get some that way. Did not locate any food nearby. So now let's come and buy some from this fella. Gonna get a little bit more of that fishing bait. I want to buy, let's do 10. Now when I'm out there and I feel like doing a little fishing, I'll have what I need. I've got my fishing pole and I've got my bait. And who knows, maybe I will find some more bait along the way. Bliss says, I don't need always. Oh my goodness. Always pads, what do I need? Trivago or audio Harry Potter books or Jimmy Dean waffles? None of those are in my wheelhouse. Ah, wow. What a shame. What a shame. Oh, you know what? I intended to try something. We have a revive point, and we can also use something called Gate. Now, where do we find it? Who knows? Maybe it's here in this book. Ah, there it is. Yes, Gate. Let's try using that. Apparently, I can't just use it from this window. How entertaining. So I do need to put it on my hotbar after all. No, what a shame. All right, we'll put it over here with disarm. Oh, no. I have to put it on my spell window? Well, that's entertaining. Wonder if I could just replace Silos. I can't. Okay, let's try removing Silos Accelerando, which I don't need there anymore because it's a song. And we'll try putting Gate there that way. Interesting. Okay, so now that we have it there, we can possibly use it, ideally. And then after that, we'll switch into our adventuring mode. Bliss says, Gate takes you to your bind point. Right, but I bound over at East Commons, I believe. So very cool. Gladiator says, have a good one. Thanks for sharing the GP. Thank you very much, Gladiator. Bliss says, bind soul should set your bind point. Yeah, there's a guy there who's like a soul binder. And so I talked to him and I bound my soul over there with him. Now, let's use Gate and see if it works as intended. Hopefully. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Gladiator. All right. Well, I thought that I used it. It seems that I have failed to bind to the area. All right. Well, it's going to be a bit of a run in that case. Maybe I can only do that when I die. I don't know. Was Soulbinder somebody? Well, it'll be an interesting little run anyway. Let us load our adventuring set back up and head that way. I'm gonna try to go toward, I believe, Befallen is where I was. Bliss says, caster classes and priests eventually get the ability to bind their own soul most everywhere. Cool. Interestingly, I don't seem to have loaded up the correct thing here. Let's try this again. Maybe I did something wrong. Who knows? Load spell set adventure. I think maybe something fizzled right off the bat is what happened there. I'm not sure. Bliss says, are you multi-streaming on different platforms or is chat bugged for me? Yes, multi-streaming is correct. YouTube is probably who I was responding to there. All right, now, onward. There's someone named Greed. They seem to be doing well. Let's hail them. Okay, off we go. They're a level 2 Shadow Knight Necromancer. A very new character. They're very nice. Now I can just go ahead and run up to things and smash them as I go through. You gotta be a little careful about that though. Some of these things have faction. And if you smash the wrong thing, then you lose faction. And it's not necessarily lovely. Those Froglops, for instance, are members of the Gut faction. So if you smash them, then all of the frogs in the world hate you, as far as I can tell. And they attack you periodically, just to show you how much they hate you. So, these are some of the things that I've learned so far. And it doesn't really hurt, as far as I can tell. Just kind of kill these things as you go along and gather their bits. And you can even auto-sell stuff and whatnot if you have it set to do so. Personally, since I don't really know what anything is for, I just kind of keep it all so far in the dungeon. What's it called? The Dragon Sword. That's the one. So, on our way to Inithul Swamp, and the path ultimately will lead, hopefully, to Befallen. Because I think I went through Inithul Swamp, and then over to South Row, I think. And then, I'm not sure exactly where then, but I might know it when I see it. We'll see. What I do know is that the place that I was in looked a lot like Sinking Sands. A black wolf skin. Let's right-click this, and we're going to auto-store it. Whenever something pops up in your window, you can right-click those things, set an automatic action for what to do with it. It's pretty cool. I recommend it. Also, if you're walking along and you happen to use your right mouse button to do this, like I often do, then you might want to go into your options and set it so that the right click to attack things is not on. Because if you have right click to attack and you do that, then periodically you'll end up in a fight with something that you have no intention to be in a fight with, or you'll end up stopping fighting with something that you do intend to stop with. So there's a little tip. Alright. Well, it is dark. I mean, it is dark over here. I'm going to try to get over to South Row up there to the north. Another cool thing about this is you can set the difficulty of the thing that you're in, of the zone that you're in. And what it does is it changes you to a different instance, basically. That's a different difficulty level. And it goes from 0 to 4. And I think that the loot is better at the higher difficulties. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be nearly so dark if I had kept my little candle on my person. But I was told that I did not need it due to being an ogre who can see in the dark perfectly fine. Which is as it may be, but it's still quite dark for me. Bliss says right-clicking guards is fun and good for your health. Not so much. Not so much. As it turns out, if you right-click on many things, they will attack you. It's a little bit interesting because you have to right-click on the merchants in order to have them interact with you. Hail does not do it. Don't be fooled into thinking you could just press H. It won't work. They'll just talk to you. It's not useful. But if you have it set where it's right-click to attack, you have a high chance of accidentally attacking something you absolutely do not need to attack, including, but not limited to, guards. Oh, there's a blue guy. Let's get him. Another thing in this game, when you're in combat, you have to actually face the enemy in order to hit the enemy. And it's better if you don't let them behind you. So if you keep them in front of you and you face them, then that's going to be a little bit better for your health than if you let them circle around you, or if you turn your back on them and then you can't hit them. Also, it's important to be kind of on the same level as far as your altitude goes as the thing that you're attacking, or otherwise you can end up also not being able to hit the thing. If there's a little bump or something, that's not always wonderful either. You have some line of sight issues pretty often with that. When the things are gray, they mostly don't come after you. Not so for other colors. Some things, they will come and attack you. They're aggro. You may not know it unless you consider them. Then you find out. Marshall says, where is the XP bar? Okay, that's an interesting question. So over here where it says level 13, or just 13, Berserker, Bard, and Shaman, in that window there, and at the bottom it says Berserker Stance, there is a bar right above it that says 50%. And I think, I can't recall at the moment if that's for the AA. I think that's for the AA, and that the orange bar here is for the experience, but don't quote me on that. One of those bars there is your XP bar. There's a level 51 fellow. Let's see. I'm pressing the wrong button. If we consider it, it says Andad Fila glowers at you dubiously. What would you like your tombstone to say? Well, I'm not interested in finding that out quite yet. Oh, Andad Fila. I'm gonna head on this way instead. I think this may be the area that I've been told there's a griffin that wanders around and can kill you. Bliss says, but enemy pathing is dumb. Most of the time you can just get straight back up and you can just back straight up and you're fine. Interesting. Yes. Yes. As far as whether they're in front of you or behind you, absolutely agreed. That's what I have been doing. Like if something is attacking me, and like say it casts darkness, that makes your whole screen go black, so you actually can't see where the thing is. But if you just go like this, it'll come straight to you no matter what. It doesn't try to run around you when you back up. So, good news, it's an easy fix if you are in front of something or behind something or have your back to it or whatever. So, I think the suggestion was that I should not spend too much time in this area because the griffin can come spawn and will just absolutely slaughter me. That's what I was told here. And then I should just make my way on across. So we'll try that. We're trying to go to the Oasis of Mar right now. I do feel tempted to kill all of these snakes, however. I don't know why. Bliss says that the green is AA and the orange is XP. Excellent. Very good. I thought that was the case, but being as how it doesn't exactly tell you for sure on the bar itself, I wasn't certain. Ah, Quote. Let's get it. Kind of feel like surely if the griffin is around, he'll be fairly visible, right? You would think he would be in the air and you could see him coming, but that's not what they tell me. They say that I won't see him coming. He'll swoop down upon me and I will die a terrible death without any chance to survive. But we'll see. Oh, Bliss has to go. Have fun, Bliss. Got a zombie over here, and, you know, how could I pass that up, right? Also, I have these. I have Tainted Breath, which is a dot, and I also have Frost Rift, which is just straight damage. We also have some healing. There's a ghoul. Let's do some Tainted Breath on the ghoul, and then see if we can get Frost Rift off as well. Doesn't look like it. To go straight into the combat at that point. Now, I have a little bit of healing. A couple of them. Got a light heal and a minor heal. But I'm mostly the type who just beats on things, so. Dervish Cutthroat is over there. I do a lot of fizzling because I haven't done much yet in the game. But getting better all the time. Let's see. We're not too far from the Oasis of Mar. Here we have a bronze dagger. So the first thing I want to do is click auto merge with that. Next thing is to loot it. Now we've got Cutthroat Insignia Ring +1. We're going to do auto merge on that as well. And then loot it. I don't know that I want to get in a fight with those guys at the moment. I suspect they're very social and would love to help each other out. I didn't realize that Dervish Cutthroats have their own faction. Probably what I want to do then is not attack the Dervish Cutthroats in the future. Zombie didn't seem to have any faction, so I'm good on that at least. Marshall says auto merge is to automatically combine and upgrade items. Yes, it is. And that if you already have one in your bags, and you click auto merge, then as soon as you loot that thing, it'll merge with the item in your bag. And upgrade, yes, the item. I can't get distracted from my goal here. I was getting sidetracked. I'm going to have to try harder to do that binding business. I don't know how I messed it up, but obviously either I messed it up or I don't know how to use it properly. Now, one way or the other, we're making the run. The zone lines in this game are very difficult for me. I'm used to Everquest 2, where most of the time when you're zoning, there's a fairly clear evidence that you're going to be zoning soon. Now, Northern Row is right up here a little ways. Commander Ghost Wolf says you pick Ogre. I played Everquest in 1999 to 2001. Nice, nice. So, this is Everquest Legends. And so you played till just before just a little bit before EverQuest 2 came out. You're a couple years shy. So I played EverQuest 2 for like 20 years, but never did play EverQuest 1. I still have not played EverQuest 1. And so now I'm trying out EverQuest Legends on beta, and it's very interesting. It's very, very different than EverQuest 2. And yeah, I picked Ogre. I couldn't resist, you know? She's just so incredibly, I mean, look at that, you know? I mean, wow, you know? Wow. What a thing that is, right? How can you resist the call of the ogre, honestly? And then to top it off, every once in a while, she'll reach around and scratch her butt, you know? And that is just, you know, really. What else could you play? Grimfeather says you're the first person I've come across that's playing the 3 classes I want to try on release. Oh man, I wish I knew what I was doing. That would really help so much. Commander says I played EverQuest 2 for a long time as well, but I have better memories from EQ1. That's interesting. Yeah, I actually still play EverQuest 2. I started like the January after EverQuest 2 came out, I started playing it and never stopped. It's a very good game. Now, that being said, I like the old version of it and not the new version of it. So therefore, I'm playing on the Anashti Sul server, which is an Origins server, and it's currently in around the year 2007 as far as the updates that it's on. So it's definitely a lot different at that stage of the game than where it's at right now on live. I don't play on live anymore, really. I have, you know, all my main characters obviously are on live, but I only really log on there, you know, to visit with friends or whatever if somebody wants to show me something or something like that. But and things like that. There's occasionally maybe an event or something. I think I was on there to show everybody Frostbell last Christmas. It also, you know, they have the Nights of the Dead stuff that goes on, that Halloween stuff. But there's some events that I would still log on to live for on EverQuest 2. But right now, primarily, I'm just doing Origins on there, which in my case is the Anashti Sul server. And I definitely have a lot of good memories from that. Alright, we got this Deepwater crocodile beating up on us here. So, Grimfeather, I see that your username is also named after an EverQuest character. EverQuest 2, no less, it seems. I don't know, is Grimfeather also in EverQuest 1? Maybe. You guys would know better than me. Okay, he is on EverQuest 1. Nice. Grimfeather is nasty in EverQuest 2. Haven't met him yet in EverQuest 1, but if he's anything like what he is in EverQuest 2, then I know what to expect. Sneaky Griffin, yes. Absolutely. Now, is Grimfeather going to be the one here that I've been warned about that flies around? They said a griffin does. I just assumed it was a generic griffin, but is it Grimfeather himself? If so, we may have the opportunity to get killed by him yet. Haven't made it all the way across. Grimfeather says, in EQ1 I've lost count of how many times I've died waiting for at the in-case spire. I assumed you were going with Nectalos spire, but I don't know if that's what your NK means or not. Alright. North Karana. Okay, North Karana. Interesting. So you're way ahead of me. I didn't even know that they had spires in EverQuest 1. Certainly, definitely know about the ones in EverQuest 2. Marshall says, are you able to reliably kill red cons? Alright, so I have killed some red cons. I don't know if I could reliably kill them or not, because whenever I've fought them, it has certainly not been intentionally thus far, seeing as how I don't know what I'm doing. But when I have ended up in fights with them, as long as I only have one of them, I've been able to survive. So Brimfeather lives in North Corona. I don't honestly, I think right now I'm in South Row, right? And I'm making my way to North Row. So I don't think I've hit Corona yet here. Or if I have, I didn't know it, which is also possible. Grimfeather says he's only ever played EverQuest 1, never tried EverQuest 2. Oh, well, that's a shame. Unfortunately, again, like I said, EverQuest 2 Live is a very different animal. If you do try it, I do recommend Origins. You have a, you do have to be a member in order to be on Origins, but I would say it's definitely worth it. Or it is for me, at least. I mean, to each his own and all that, but it's a good game. It's, in my opinion, personal opinion, it's the best game. Actually, the best game easily the best MMO that I've ever played. But I would go so far as to say it's definitely the best online game of any type that I've ever played. So, and of course, when I say that, I am referring to the older portion of EverQuest 2, not its current rendition. Even now, though, even in the condition that it's in, I would still say that even EverQuest 2 Live is probably still going to be the best current online game that I know of. But yeah, it's nothing compared to what it once was. Now, I think I'm supposed to go to the East Commons from here, I believe. I only made this trek once before, so if I'm wrong, don't be surprised. It's interesting, because a lot of these places are familiar to me by name from EverQuest 2, but they're not familiar to me. Their locations are different than where they are in EverQuest 2. And I know that that's partially explained by the difference between the pre-shattering and the post-shattering, right? But it's interesting how incredibly different they are. And like, for instance, the Fallen Zone that I was in is clearly it looks like it's the same as Stormhold in EverQuest 2. And then I found out after I was in there the other day, that apparently Stormhold was intended to be Befallen in EverQuest 2, and then that ended up not going as according to plan, and it became Stormhold. Let's go to Auto Store on Miss Carapace. Grimfeather says, is this your first set of classes in EQO? Yes. Yes, indeed. I went with Berserker Bard first, and then when I hit 10, I chose the Shaman. In EverQuest 2, I mained a Shaman for a long time. I was a Mystic, and the classes here are a little bit different. Classes here are significantly different than the classes in EverQuest 2, and I didn't know how it would turn out. So far, I'm using the healing element of it primarily. But yeah, it could, we'll see how it goes in the end. I think I'm on the wrong level to adopt this guy. There we go. If your feet aren't on the same level, as the feet of the guy you're attacking in this, you often cannot see them. And your whole fight will go awry. You're not attacking anybody. Believe it or not, I am slowly making my way toward the fallen. I'm just getting distracted fighting these guys for really kind of no reason at all. Let's back up a bit so we get them more in front of us. Marshall says, so what weapons are you using now? It's a good question. Let's see. What weapons am I using? Looks like I have the Baron's Blade +5 and Enchanted Fine Steel Morningstar +1. Grimfeather says, oh, Marshall says that's neat. Yeah. Grimfeather says, I played live for years back in the day, but had to quit for real life issues. When the TLP Mischief came along around COVID, I jumped on that and streamed for a couple of years since I was at home and gaming anyway. And work required me to be back on site more, I had to give it up again. That's a shame. Well, maybe you'll have an opportunity to do this. EverQuest Legends, you don't have to be in for a long period of time. I think that 30 minutes to an hour segments is perfectly fine. That being said, if you want to actually get somewhere, it does take a little bit of time. I think you probably know that. I'm basically what I'm trying to do at this point is to get back over to where I thought I had my soulbound. Turns out I somehow didn't get my soulbound there, or if not, then I don't know how to access that bind point. Highly possible that I just don't know what I'm doing, because that is the case in many, many ways. Grimfeather says, yeah, I'm looking for the casual playing again, also seeing if my son would want to play with me this time around. Cool. How old's your son, if you don't mind my asking? Alright, let's toss a spell at this Puma here. Poor old level 5 Puma just minding his own business. 10? That's a great age for it. Yeah. We got a Puma skin here. Let's auto-store that. I do love the auto-store feature. It's very, very cool. I don't know if that was in the original EverQuest or not. If so, that's absolutely amazing, and why on earth did they not bring that over to EverQuest Legends, or EverQuest 2 rather? But if this is a new thing, it's a very cool thing for sure. In EverQuest 2 they have auto loot, and you can choose what quality of items you have to roll for, and that's only really if you're in a group. But being able to pick individual items and say what you want to do with that item is pretty dang cool. Alright, I've made it very close to the East Commons. I think we're gonna get there soon. And that's where there's a cave, I think. The first half of a cave is on this side, and then we go into the East Commons, and I think that's where the other half of it is, maybe. Or maybe I'm wrong. Also possible. Again, I've only been over here once so far, so likely as not, anything I say, just take it with a grain of salt, I would. It looks like I might be right, though. This looks like a cave so far. Marshall says, sorry, I missed it. What is your destination? Well, I'm currently trying to make it to this cave here to try to rebind myself, because my bind that I thought I had set obviously didn't work. But also, I was initially trying to get over to Befallen, which is where I was last time I played, and then I had to go back to August to find the banker. because I don't know of a banker over here. There may be one, but if there is one, I don't know where, and it doesn't give us a lot of information in this area on the little find window. So uncertain. You can check your binder by typing /care info. Let's try it. /care info, and it says bind. Bind point is East Common one. So I did get it set here properly, meaning that I just ran all this way for no reason, and I could have just used my thing. I tried to use it, but so I tried to use gate, and it said that let's see, it said I was zoning, and it zoned me back into the period. So I assumed it didn't work. Is there something I should have used that wasn't gate in order to go to my bind point? Guess that's the real question. The guy that I bound with was right over here. He's let's see. I'll find him. Maybe this direction. Yeah, there he is. Soulbinder Juby. Soulbinder guy right here. This is the one I talked to, and I thought I had bound to him. So Marshall says should get gate to port to bind point. Yes, that's what I tried to do earlier. I went here and I went, I don't know, I think it was actions. Nope, not actions. It was maybe there's a way. Maybe it was under skills, character skills, possibly. No, I don't know. Maybe this was it. And so I came down here, and that's not it. But where did I put that? Gate spell. Did I bring that down? No, I brought forage down. Okay, I didn't get the gate spell off of the. Was it in here? Maybe it was in here. Yes, it was in here. Okay, so there's the gate spell right there. And I thought, oh yes, I know where I drug it. I drug it down to the spell window over here. Go here. Oh, to this button here, and I right click it, load spell set, and I go to buffs. Then I had gate. I wonder if I failed to use it. I had right clicked on Silo's Accelerando, and then I got gate, and I drug it down there. And then I had used it. Yeah, that's what I had done. I'd used it from here. It said it was zoning, and then it took me back to the Furet. So, don't know what I did wrong, but I do know that I want to go ahead and save this spell set as my buffs set. Do you want to save over set buffs? Yes, I absolutely do, because I want it in that window there. Let's see here. Marshall says, at the character select screen, you can use Origin, which for you is set to August, yes. And I did that earlier to get over to August so that I could find the bank. And then what I thought I was going to do is gate over here afterward. That was my big plan. But unfortunately, I tried to use the gate and it did not work. Or maybe I did it wrong. Maybe I moved too soon. I'm not sure. Grimfeather says, I saw you on and what classes you were playing. I went ahead and tossed you a follow. Well, thank you. If you jump back on EQL, I'll definitely stop back by to see how you're progressing. I need to get the family ready for bed. Yeah, understandable. It is getting pretty late. Have a good night, Grimfeather. If I don't see you again today, then I'll see you later. All right. So yeah, I thought that was what I was trying to do for sure. But unfortunately it didn't work as intended. And again, I don't know, that very possibly was my fault. I probably did something wrong because again, I have no idea what I'm doing. So it's all just guesswork for me and that and you guys kind of giving me an idea of what's going on. So let's see here. I went from here where maybe I went to West Commonlands and then to maybe West Commonlands and then to Leaf Fallen. That makes sense. because Befallen was off of Common Lands in EverQuest 2. So, for it to be in the West Common Lands makes a lot of sense here too. Okay, Gagum Grim says you used Bind Self spell, correct? Bind Self spell. I don't know Bind Self spell. All I know is I talked to that Soulbinder back there in those caves, and said to bind myself there. And if we look here, and they told me to look at, I think it was /care info, then it tells me that my bind point is East Common Lands, which is exactly where it should be. Marshall says he means bind affinity spell. And then Gagum says, it's probably Gage, isn't it? It's Gage M. Grim. Is that right? Rather than Gagum, but maybe it's Gagum. Is it Gagum Grim? Are you gagging him? Or is it Gage M? Oh, it's Gagum. It is Gagum. All right. Well, good to know. All right. Let's load spell set for adventuring before I get too far along into dying. Oh, it was a mistell. How do you tank a dragon? Gaggle. Huh. All right. I see. You were a main tank is probably that is what you meant, is what you're saying there. I read it as mistell the first time, but having read the rest of it, main tank makes a lot more sense. I'm struggling with communication today. That's all I know. Marshall says, as a shaman, you can use Bind Affinity to bind yourself just about anywhere. You don't need to use Soulbinder unless you're a class that does not have Bind Affinity and Gate. I do have Gate. I don't know about Bind Affinity. Let's see. Would it be under... It would probably be in the spellbook, right? Like Gate is. So let's see. Bind Affinity. We have Gate. I do not see Bind Affinity if it's going to be in the skills. I just became a shaman at level 10. Really don't know much about it. Gagum Grim has started following. Thank you very much for the follow. The ogre. It's just so great, like how she just sort of pads across the sand, you know, the leg movements are phenomenal. Just not at the right spot to attack. There we are. Gotta get back on the correct altitude here. I don't think that I've made the dervish angry enough to attack me on sight yet, as far as I can tell. Another thing is, when they get low health, a lot of these guys will run away. And you've got to be very careful with that, because if they run away, then they'll go and gather up people to come and attack you, it seems. I knew that they would do that if you cast Intimidate on them, but I didn't realize that they would do that when they're just running away from you until the other day. Commander Ghost Wolf says, does /bind do anything? It's been so long since I used /commands. Oh, let's see. /bind. This is not a valid command. Please use /help. And that, I'm sure, would tell us all of the commands when we vote. Gagum Grim says, not all spells are auto-granted. Need to hit a spell vendor. A spell vendor, huh? Now I've seen like cleric spells and things like that over in Ogok. Is that the same sort of things, I assume? I haven't spent much time on them because, of course, I'm not a cleric, and I would need a berserker or a bard or a shaman kind of individual, I would assume. I've been struggling mightily just to keep up with what I have right now and where it's at and all that. So the learning curve is fairly steep. Og has a shaman vineyard. Oh, nice, nice. Possibly, probably, in fact, true. I wasn't a shaman when I was hanging out over there, really. I didn't get that until I hit level 10. And so I didn't really go. I did go back into Og just earlier today, but I didn't go looking around in all of the places. Another thing of note is that the Q button can get you into or out of combat as well. I think if I just press it, yeah, it'll put me in combat. And then you can press it again to get out of combat, assuming that you're not in, assuming you want to do that and you're not actually trying to be in combat with someone. But yeah, I was saying the zone lines here are very difficult for me, that you just run along and you run into it. Now in EverQuest 2, most of the places that you go into have some sort of, oh no, I accidentally went back into East Cottonlands. Most of the places have some sort of a door or something that you're going to click on or otherwise interact with. I remember when Echoes of Fador came out, it was very complicated because that was the first time that I experienced just running across a zone line, and that's all there was to it. You're now in a different zone, and that was when you go across from Butcher Block Mountains into Greater Kadar Profess versa. But there is at least an indication that you're going in the right direction. Like they have a lot of signs and stuff saying, "Hey, you're going toward, Greater Kadar," or something like that, or you're going, whatever you're going toward. But all of the Fey places are that way. They you just run across an invisible line and suddenly you're in a zone and you don't know exactly where it's at. Sometimes you feel like you should have already gotten there and you didn't. And I find that they got that from this game because that's what everything has been like here so far. You just run along, minding your own business, and all of a sudden you're zoning before you know it. You got, well, that was interesting. I think okay, so it auto-looted, but it did it a little bit slowly, and so we actually saw it come up on the screen, and then it was gone. It's interesting. Got a high-quality cat belt off that one. Not just any cat belt, it's a high-quality cat belt. How about a will-o-wisp? We like those. What's interesting is these will-o-wisps drop burnout lightstones here. And burnout lightstones are items in Everquest 2 as well. But in Everquest 2, they start a quest, a heritage quest. Marshall says, how much inventory space do they give you? Now, that's a complicated question, to be honest. So there's multiple different things going on. We've got a bank. It's just like a regular bank, and it's pretty small. But it can hold bags, and so you can expand your size of your bank. But then you also have a Dragon's Hoard, and the Dragon's Hoard can be accessed from out here, which is where a lot of this stuff is going. And it holds quite a lot of things. And then you also have a trade skill depot, which holds any items that can be used in crafting. You can also access that from out here, and it'll auto-store to those. And it holds quite a bit of stuff. So it really just depends on what type of item it is. And I just found out the other day, there's another thing called equipment, and it holds like 50 pieces of equipment. So if you can find your equipment thing, you can throw your stuff into there. It may be like EQL, maybe players, maybe not. I've only done this once as well. So, whether I can find it or not is another question entirely. Actually, you know what? I think I know where it is. So I think you hit I. This is very counterintuitive. So you go to your inventory. Then you go to this thing called key rings. Who knew what key rings was? But you go there and you see over to the far right, there's a tab that says equipment. And it can hold 30 or it can hold 50 pieces. I have 31 in there right now. But it can hold 50 pieces of equipment. So it's pretty awesome. We can just take it and just throw stuff into it. Now, how, you may wonder, do you get the stuff out of it? Who knows? I guess you just pick it up, just like that. All right. So you just left click it, and there it is, coming on into your inventory. So why am I carrying around all this stuff? That's the real question. Now, I do actually want it here so that if I find something that binds, it'll just auto bind to it. So like, I may even want to see if I have any rusty long swords or something like that poking around in here, and then I could have it out here where it could merge with other items. Just a thought, bloodstone ring, whatever. If you get something that you find is dropping in the area that you're in, it might behoove you to have it in your bag so that it'll auto merge, because merging it later just isn't quite so fun and enjoyable. It's a little more involved. Let's see here. Sakagami Mai says Raider Lightstone is useful in classic healing because they were very blind. Nice. So it's an actual light. The Raider Lightstone is a light for you. Gagum Grim says, and a few keychains. I know nothing of keychains. I've got key rings. Marshall Hunter says that's